this Pakistan versus South Africa match because it gets me copyright every single time. Copywriting complete course. Which video should we use? 3 4 hour copyright for beginners. Alright, let's start. I think we should go with some Indian guy. It will be more authentic. You will be using local language. But the problem with the Indian guys is that they put copyright on copyright. This guy, Mike Nardi, he has just 37 minutes course. So we are gonna do that.
And we're back in third quarter planning. Adams is quarterbacking this project.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome.
Bro, what the hell are you doing? Go a little bit far away. It gives like gay feelings or some shit.
Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do a totally free practical copywriting course that you can do even if you're a total beginner. To get you to the point where you're a confident copywriter, have the skills to sell your services as a copywriter, and are ready to start making money online selling copywriting services for yourself. So without further ado, let's get into the course. All right, so this is the moment I think you've all been waiting for. This is the practical copywriting course for beginners. This is what I'm hoping you'll learn in this course. In the best case scenario, once you finish this course and all of the recommended practice exercises, I'm hoping you're able to successfully start selling freelance copywriting services online. That's the best case scenario. And if you go through this course, do the writing exercises I'm going to be providing, and actually take the time I outlined in this course, I think you have a really good chance of hitting that best case scenario. Worst case scenario is not so bad, but you finish the course and are not quite ready to start freelance selling copywriting services, but are well on your way to being ready. So in this scenario, I imagine you'll probably just need some more practice, but lucky for you, like I mentioned, I'll be providing some very helpful practice exercises and timelines to help you get there. So my background, a little bit about me. This is the, why you should listen slide. So I've been a Fiverr seller myself for just over 3 years. That's pretty channel. Company value is just
Looking to launch your online store? Spocket helps you build your dropshipping store in just 5 minutes with AI. Access high quality.
skeptical that I'm just blowing. Smoke. This is my Fiverr analytics. I'm actually closer to $61,000 of total revenue since making this video in October 2021. And I've completed about 660 orders, which is crazy to think. All right, so course breakdown. So I broke this course down into 6 parts, and I think that I've laid these parts out that if you go through each part in order and complete the practice activities in each part in sequence, you should be left off pretty solidly at the end. So part 1, we're going to cover the question that a lot of I've taken get into the dictionary definition of copywriting as a starting place. So copywriting is the activity or occupation of writing the text of advertisements or publicity materials. Okay, here's my definition of copywriting. I think it might be a little easier to understand. Copywriting is the act of writing something intended to help directly or indirectly advertise or sell something. You tell me which one makes more sense, but I think that this one is easier to understand for Fiverr sellers who are new to the whole world of copywriting. So here are some examples of what copywriting can be: website copy, sales page copy, landing pages, flyers, brochures, sales emails, marketing emails, blog posts, product descriptions, service descriptions, ebooks, lead magnets, YouTube descriptions. The list goes on. But if you're new to copywriting, this is what it is, and these are some of the things you can sell as a copywriter. So another important thing to cover when you're getting into the world of selling copywriting services is it's important. important to understand than if you were just foundation for copywriting. So I mentioned that this is really important, and it is. So the first thing you got to do, that's me sitting on my couch reading a book.
Are you a course creator, coach, or consultant? Do not make a course or ebook before you see this. Find out if your idea will sell.
Reading helps you write. I know it's sounds crazy, and I've mentioned this in some of my other videos, but if you want to be a good writer and you want to be a copywriter, you need to be a good reader and read often. So it's important to get into the habit of reading every day. But every day in it doesn't even have to be reading copy. Just read books you like every day. It'll expose you to different writing styles, different, techniques that authors and writers use to get their message across, and that will passively bake into your brain and help you improve your own writing. So read every day. And other than reading every day, you also want to write every day. So that's me just jotting down on a notepad. I like writing on physical paper sometimes at the ideation phase of a new project. It helps me get my thoughts onto the page. But get started writing absolutely anything. So for a lot of us, when we come into the world of copywriting, it's our first time writing anything. So at some point for every new writer, you got to just take the plunge and start writing something. You need to learn how to write stuff down. It's a skill that comes with practice, and being able to sit down and just start writing is a very important skill for copywriters who are going to be getting all these new projects all the time and need to learn how to self-motivate and start the writing process, even in times when they're not feeling super creative. So here's the first exercise of this course. This is a beginner writing exercise that I've done extensively when I first started as a writer, and this is going to be crucial for you too. So step one is sit down at your desk, either in front of a pad of paper like I had in my picture or in front of a blank document on your computer, and set a 20-minute timer on your phone. Next, just start writing and do not stop. until the timer goes off. Do not come prepared with an idea of what you want to write. The point of this exercise is to get you to sit down, set a timer, and write for that amount of time. So yeah, as I mentioned, this exercise the whole point of this exercise is to help you be able to sit down and just write. You'll be amazed at some of the stuff that you'll come up with. At first it'll be really hard, but being able to sit down and just start a writing flow is an important skill, because as a copywriter, you'll be getting a lot of projects for things that maybe are new to you, or maybe you're not passionate about, and you need to be able to sit down, take the ideas, and put them to paper. So I would recommend you do this writing exercise every day for 30 days. At the end of the first 30 days, do a self-assessment. How do you feel? Has this gotten easier for you? Are you able to actually sit down and just pound through a lot of text in 20 minutes? Or do you feel a little uncomfortable still? Do you feel like you have trouble, just writing on cue? If you do feel like you're not confident and you're having some trouble, keep doing this until you're comfortable with the exercise and you feel like the quality of the words you're putting on the page is actually getting better. So if after 30 days it's not happening, for you, don't worry. Do it for another 30 days. This is a great writing exercise that I still do, and I've been copywriting for years. It'll help you work that muscle in your brain that helps you write on a timeline, and helps you just get words onto the page. So this is the first exercise of this course. Bookmark this page, maybe save this part of the video, come back to this. Ideally, you got to do this for 30 days. If you can't commit to doing this for 30 days, you're just not ready to be a copywriter. So trust me, try this out. So here's the summary activities for part 2. Again, bookmark this, save this. this part of the video, but step one for all new copywriters is to make sure you're getting into a habit of reading every day. It's important. I would recommend setting 20 minutes aside every day to read whatever you want. Read what you enjoy, but read something. And the part two practice activity from this course is the beginner writing exercise I mentioned. So sit down in front of a blank page or document and write for 20 minutes. Do not come prepared with an idea, just sit down and write, and do this for 30 days. At the end of that 30 days, give yourself an honest review of how you feel you have progressed in this exercise. If you don't feel super confident, just keep doing it. Add a week, add 2 weeks, add another month. But this is important. Let me know in the comments what you think about these activities, or if you have any questions or you're struggling with them, happy to help. Okay, so part three, learning the basics of copywriting. So as a starting point, I thought it would be cool to outline some free ways we can learn the basics, and then some paid ways. Choose whichever you like. I've done all of these things. So free ways to learn the basics. The first is to study good copy that you can find on websites of successful people or companies that you follow. See what they do, see what appears on their site. Next is study the copy found in marketing emails. So any of us who have an email address, a Gmail, whatever, odds are you get a lot of spam, a lot of marketing emails, a lot of companies reaching out to you. Just skim through your own inbox and see the types of emails you're getting. What types of subject lines are they using? What do the emails look like? Do they get your attention? What's working well? Study this type of stuff. And next is to study good copy by actually submitting your email on a business website, or entering their sales funnel through a lead capture form. And the kind of trick with this one is that gives you a behind the scenes look to see what happens after that type of thing happens. A lot of copywriters write these type of follow-up sequences that are initiated after a prospect visits a website. So by visiting a website and putting in a dummy email or something, you can actually see what these companies are sending out to prospects, and that's a great free way to learn. So when it comes to studying website copy, here's an example. This is HubSpot's homepage. For those of you who don't know, HubSpot is a huge CRM software company. Just to give you an idea of some of the things you might want to look out for, what types of banners do they have running along the top of the page? And what does this banner do for you and for them? What are they trying to accomplish with this? Do they have headings? What do the headings look like? Are they cliche? Are they relevant to current events? Study the headlines on the page, and then the subheadings. What do you see on the first, above the fold? What loads when you open the page? This is all really important because you know that a big company like this has taken a lot of time into studying what works on a homepage. So just by studying this stuff, you'll get an idea of what the big players are doing, and you can use that to help develop your skills as a website copywriter. So this is just below the fold on that same web page. They're listing their product features. This is a very common thing a lot of people will get asked to do as a copywriter. What headings do they use? How many sentences do they use to briefly describe that particular product feature? Check this stuff out. There's an endless amount of big company websites you can review to learn from the best, and this is a great way to see what's happening in the copywriting industry and what other people are doing. Study it and use it to drive your practice activities and the type of stuff you might be interested in writing.
I moved away from my home to another city, that is Islamabad, which is the capital of Pakistan, to join the Big Four accounting firm. And I was away from my family.
Next, we mentioned was email copy. So you can actually study a lot of email copy for free because, speaking from experience, I get a ton of unsolicited marketing emails every day in all of my email accounts. So, this is an example of 5 subject lines I pulled from my inbox. Studying subject lines is huge because that's a big part of email copywriting. So if you look at these, the first is from a steakhouse, Eddie V's. Enjoy before the season ends. This is an interesting one. This is like they're trying to get you to feel like there's some sort of scarcity. You got to get in there and spend some money before the season ends. So that's interesting. That's a tactic you could use. A running apparel company just announcing some new releases. They know that I've already purchased from them, so that's the type of headline they go for when targeting a past client. A social network using a seasonal headline. Halloween madness is here, right? A watch store, Hodinkee, it's a niche interest. They know I'm a guy who likes watches, so Vintage Watch Week. They put Rolex and Rolex Daytona, popular keywords for watch lovers, in the subject line. Might get me to click. And then the last one is a really personal subject line. It looks like it was written by a friend. What's next on your to-do list? I wouldn't know by looking at that subject line that it's a marketing email necessarily. Study subject lines. These are just 5 I pulled from the top of my promotions bucket in my Gmail, but you probably get a lot of these too. Study them. It's a great way to learn what works. And then study the email copy. So here's an email I got from Patreon. Do they use templates or images at the top of their message? Are there subheadings? How much text actually shows up? So I was viewing this on my iPhone. How much text shows up before you have to scroll? That's an important thing that some copywriters take into consideration as well. Because if you can get the important call to actions above the fold, it might boost the conversion rate of that email. Do they use different sections of text throughout the email, or like images? What does the email look like? And do they include links? So just review emails you're getting from brands you follow and see what they're doing, because odds are they put a lot of thought into what works and what doesn't, and you can use this as a guiding light for what you do with your own copy. Next is, I mentioned entering the sales funnel or submitting your email on a company website. So here's that HubSpot lead capture page. You don't necessarily need to use it. This is just the example I used for this because I love HubSpot. But this is their create your free account lead capture page. You put your name and your email and you hit next and you get access to their free tool. But what happens next? I can tell you from experience, they start sending you emails. They start sending you links to webinars, newsletters, product releases. Submit your email to a company you follow and see what they send you to be like, this is what they do for follow-up sequences. Maybe that'll help you learn how to write your own follow-up sequences. And then another example is the Nardi blog. This is my website. I do a monthly newsletter. So if you submit your email here, you can see what type of copy I put out in my monthly newsletter. And this was a subtle plug to my website during this presentation. All right. So we talked about free ways to learn the basics. Here are some paid ways. And when I say paid, I'm not talking $10,000 courses. I'm talking reasonably priced courses that'll help you, speed up the amount of time it takes for you to, learn the basics. But again, this is totally up to you. The freeways are a great way to learn. That's how I did most of my learning. But the first is Skillshare. So I'm actually a Skillshare affiliate, and in every video I put a link to their free trial because I think Skillshare is a pretty cool platform. You pay a monthly fee and you get access to a lot of cool courses. It's a great way to learn. Udemy has been around for a long time. Udemy, you can buy courses for like $5-10, and there are a lot of courses on Udemy. A lot of these courses will offer you a means of learning that will just save you a little bit of time from figuring it out yourself. And the last one that I really like, and I've done some courses through Coursera, is Coursera.
There's a place on Coursera, there's an option if you send an email that you
So Coursera is, I think it's called a MOOC, a massive online learning community or something like that. And basically what it is it does the one-to-many model of learning where you're actually learning through universities. You have professors teaching you through pre-recorded lectures, and thousands of people from around the world take these courses. So these are the top three paid ways that I'd recommend you learn. Learning. Again, I'm an affiliate of Skillshare. I always recommend Skillshare, and there are links in the description of this video that I will get a little kickback from if you do decide to use Skillshare. Next are some books. So here are two books in particular that I read that really helped with my development as a writer. These are like, I don't know, 15, 20 bucks each. But the first is Stephen King on writing. And this isn't necessarily a book about copywriting. It's just about writing. So Stephen King, for those of you who don't know, is a very prolific, famous, wealthy horror author. He's written things like Carrie, It, a lot of big movies and books that a lot of us have heard of. So this book talks through his journey of becoming a writer and really helped me frame what that means and how I should look at the craft of writing. And it helped motivate me to actually take the next step in my writing journey. So that's a book I always recommend. It's really good and just a great way. Way to frame yourself and really try to understand why you're doing what you're doing as a writer. The next, like this course, is a practical book by the Gotham Writers Workshop, which is a very popular paid writing school. You can take courses through them to learn how to write, creative writing, copywriting, a whole bunch of different writing. But this book is actually about fiction writing, and it's a book full of exercises to help you become a better writer. So both of these books are not really directly related to copywriting, but the reason I recommend them is, for me personally, they helped me develop a passion for my writing habit. That passion allowed me to develop into a successful copywriting business. So I think that it's important to be multidisciplinary when you're becoming a writer. You know, you want to make money from copywriting, that's great. But I still write fiction and try to write short stories in my spare time because I love doing it, and it helps me get better at other forms of writing. So these are the other paid things that you can consider if you want to get into copywriting. These two books, there's a ton of books out there. These are the two that I enjoyed most.
How to get the most of Grammarly free.
It's Kayla on behalf of Grammarly to tell you all about.
All right. Writing. So these are the other paid things that you can consider if you want to get into copywriting. These two books, there's a ton of books out there. These are the two that I enjoyed most. All right, so summary activities of part 3. So first, you can study copy from websites. Second is you could study marketing emails and the copy in those in your inbox. You can submit your email to website lead capture forms or email submission forms to see what happens next. And the fourth is you could consider taking a paid course or picking up a book to help speed up the amount of time it takes you to learn. All right, part 4, writing your first pieces of copy. This is where you're going to shine. So this is going to start with an exercise. 30 days of copywriting prompts. So what is a writing prompt? A writing prompt is basically an idea, a line, something you need to do that will motivate you and guide you for what you should be writing. So every day for 30 days, select a writing prompt. And I'll give you some on the next couple slides that you can use, so no worries there. Next is each day, select a different company to be your pretend client. So you're going to use the company and write that writing prompt with that company in mind. And if you're wondering, how do I select a company? Literally just go to the internet, pick a company. Like, there's millions of companies in the world. Just pick one. This is kind of what the exercise is all about. Next, you're going to write the copy using that prompt for that particular company. And you're going to do this for 30 days using the same writing prompt, but mixing up the company every day. The goal is to get super comfortable writing one form of copy. So you see what I'm getting at here? If you select the email copywriting writing prompt, every day for 30 days, write an email from that prompt for a different company. By the end of that 30 days, you've done this 30 times. That's a lot of practice that's going to give you confidence and skills to start writing email copy for actual paying customers. Same goes with other forms of copy. So you can choose to do multiple writing prompts. So like, let's say you want to write an email for a different company every day for 30 days. That's great. You could also write website copy for those same companies every day for 30 days. But do both for 30 days. The whole idea here is practice. And if you don't feel comfortable after 30 days, do another 30 days. If you see the theme with this course, I'm stressing the practice element. This is a practical copywriting course that I think can help anyone become a good copywriter. But there are no shortcuts. At some point, you just got to practice and get good at it. So this is a fantastic exercise to actually get good at writing copy. And you can do it for a month, you can do it for 6 months, you can do it for 6 years. This is a great way to practice, and it will help you. So here's the first sample writing prompt that you can use. The first is an outbound prospecting email. So the prompt is this text in blue here, and it says, a company needs help writing an email to engage with prospective clients. The goal of the email is to have the prospect agree to a call to view a demo of the product or service that company sells. So that's what you need to do. The types of companies that might need this service: SaaS software companies, gyms and fitness centers, offshore software development firms, management consulting companies, digital media companies, ad agencies, digital marketing companies. The list goes on, but these are some of the top companies that come to mind for me when I was trying to think of the type of companies that would need this type of outbound prospecting email. So that's the first writing prompt, and I put a little tip at the bottom in orange. So if you submit your email on the company's Contact Us page or landing page, and they send you an email, that email might be a good indicator of the type of messaging that particular company is looking for. So you can do this every day to see what type of messaging they're sending out, and you use that to just help guide the voice or the tone of the message you're writing. So the next writing prompt is a product or service description. So a company needs help writing a product or service description for a new product they're launching. The description needs to reflect the company's values while also being informative and engaging, encouraging potential customers to click add to cart. So for this writing prompt, the tip I'm giving is that reviewing things like their website, social media accounts, and newsletter will help you get a better idea of what their brand identity is. So understanding their brand is an important part of writing products or services descriptions that reflect the company's values. And the types of companies that might hire you to write this type of project that you can target for practice exercise is clothing companies, electronics companies, watch brands, boutique retailers, supplements companies, e-learning companies, SaaS software companies. There's so many. But the prompt is the text in blue. You can choose to use this one in your practice. And the last one I'm giving you guys today is a website homepage. And this applies to just about any company that has a website. So here's the prompt. A startup company is launching their website for the very first time. They need help writing copy for their homepage that will do a good job explaining what they do and also encourage site visitors to do something by leveraging a well-written call to action on the homepage. So the tip for this one is if they want you to write website copy that also has a call to action that gets the visitor to do something, you need to understand clearly what this company actually does, what they sell. It's important to creating an effective call to action. So, just so you understand what a call to action is, it's a piece of copy, like a line of text, that encourages the person reading to either take immediate action on something or make a purchase. So those are the 3 writing prompts you can leverage. Use them in your 30-day practice. Let me know if you want me to provide some more in the comments, and I'll give you guys some more down the road. So the summary activities for part 4. The first is complete the writing prompt exercise every day for 30 days. The second is to give all 3 prompts a try. The reality is if you're just getting into copywriting and you don't really know what you're going to specialize in, each focuses on a different form of copywriting and might be really helpful in helping you figure out which niche you want to target, which is important. And then at the end of 30 days of practice, assess your work. Do you give it some more portfolio? So at this point, you're like, hey Mike, you've taught us what copywriting is. You've given us all these practice exercises. What next? What do I do? How do I build a portfolio if I haven't had any customers yet in the past? Well, we're going to turn some of your writing prompts into your portfolio pieces. And here's how. So the first thing you're going to do is, at this point, you've either been writing these prompts for 30 days, 60 days, more. You have many writing prompts that you've done. Review all of them. Review all of the prompts you've done over the past few months. And select the best prompts. Are there any that stick out to you and you're like, wow, this is really good. I'm proud of those good ones. Try writing them again now that you're a more experienced writer. See if you can make them better. Make them as good as you can. Once you've done that, curate and collect all of your best pieces of work and use those as your portfolio to secure your first few clients. And you can even let them know, hey, here are some writing prompts, some sample case studies I did in my development as a copywriter. You can look at these as an example of the quality of work you can expect to get from me. That's how you should build your portfolio, because most of you won't have a client. And I know a lot of you ask, how do I build a portfolio if I don't have a client? This is how. I've given you the exercises to practice writing these prompts, writing copy, writing different forms of copy. If you do the practice exercise like it's intended and you're getting good and practicing over 30, 60, 70, 80 days, whatever, you're going to be writing some stuff that you can use for your portfolio. So do just that. Part 6, how to get your first customer. So this is the big one. And I know a lot of you watching this, just because I've been doing this YouTube thing for a while and I've talked to thousands of you, a lot of you start this part before the first 5 parts that I've outlined in this course. So if you've gotten this far in the course, before I go any further, if you've gotten to this slide and you haven't honestly given the first 5 parts of this course an honest try, you haven't done the practice, you haven't done the learning, you won't succeed at this part. So if you've gotten here without that, go back and do those exercises. They're not hard to do, you just need to do them. So without further ado, let's get into how to get your first customer. The first thing you need to do is decide where you're going to list your services. So I put up my Fiverr profile here because I'm a big time Fiverr seller. I love Fiverr, and that's the focus of this channel. This is where I mainly sell my services. So Fiverr could be a great place for you to sell your services as well. There are a lot of other freelance websites as well, things like Upwork, Freelancer. There's so many of them. I choose Fiverr. So this is what a Fiverr profile looks like. You have your actual profile on the left side there that shows you, your picture, reviews, where you're from, and I really recommend using a picture of you. And then you have all the gigs that you have listed for sale. So I have videos on my channel of how to make great Fiverr gigs, but here's just a quick rundown. So you're going to want to write a really good subject line. And if you've been doing the practice exercises in this course, you're probably pretty good at that at this point. Next, you got to select your packages and figure out how you're going to sell your services. I typically recommend offering, basic, standard, and premium package. I find that it gives people enough variety to help hook them on if they, maybe they don't have a big enough budget for your premium, but they'll hit up your standard. Gives them options. Then you got to decide on a price. So I talk about this extensively in a lot of videos, but just as a starting point, I'm in the camp of starting at $5. Start at the baseline, get your first 5, 10, 15 orders, and get 5-star ratings on those orders by doing great work. And then up your prices, because 5-star ratings are very important to succeeding on Fiverr. But it's up to you. A lot of people don't like starting at $5. Do whatever you're comfortable with. And then you got to get a good profile picture going on. So you could use something like Canva, take a picture of yourself, put a little headline, a little bulleted list of what you offer, make it informative and, clicky, because this along with your gig title is what's going to entice people to actually click through to your service. And then next, probably the most important part after they click through to your gig is your description. So this is the place where you got to accurately describe what you're selling. Use some related and relevant keywords. It's got to get them to the point of hitting continue and placing an order. So a lot of worry about a lot of that. So I just sell on Fiverr mainly. if you want to sell on your own website, you got to start thinking about, are you going to buy a CRM? Are you going to do paid marketing, Google ads, Facebook ads? What are you going to do? I actually have a video that talks about how much I've actually saved by paying Fiverr to host my gigs, their 20% cut, overdoing it myself. And it's pretty substantial. I think it was like $30,000 for the first couple years. So this kind of wraps up where you're going to list your services, but that's pretty much it. Once you've learned how to copyright, you've built your portfolio, you got to post it for sale somewhere, whether it be Fiverr or your own website or another freelancing site, and use your skills that you've developed as a copywriter to make these listings awesome. So what's next?
Are you sick of sifting through job scams on job sites? At flexjobs.com, every job in our database.
Time. So what's next is doing the work, putting in the reps and being patient. It can take time to get your first couple of orders as a Fiverr seller. It can take a couple of different iterations of a Fiverr gig to get one to the point where it ranks in Fiverr search. It can take time to get your first 15 5-star rated orders at $5 an order before you can up your prices. This is where we're leaving off with this presentation, because the number one thing I hear from people is that they're impatient, it's not working out for them, and they always quote the amount of time it's been. It's been a week, it's been 24 hours.